In this lesson, we're going to talk about how we can help our loved ones get dressed. It's a pretty quick and simple lesson. We're basically just going to look at how we can help in early and middle and late stages. So in the early stages, most people can generally handle their dressing unless they have other physical issues. So shoulder problems, balance issues, things like that. They can usually handle getting dressed themselves. But one good thing to do at this time is you might want to start kind of simplifying the closet. Get out things that they're not going to wear because it can be a little bit overwhelming and confusing to them. We also want to make sure any of the out-of-season stuff is not in there, especially if they are living independently still, so they're not wearing sweaters outside. Most people with dementia have issues picking out appropriate clothing for the season. So persons with dementia are at a much higher risk of hyper and hypothermia. So we want to make sure that they have the appropriate clothing for whatever the season is. You also may want to hang on to some of the clothes that don't fit, especially if money is a concern. A lot of people with dementia do tend to gain or lose weight during their journey. So having those kind of odd sizes and things, in a closet somewhere might come in handy sometime in the future. So in the middle stages, they may require a little bit more assistance. And we want to continue to simplify the closets. This is especially true if your loved one tends to do things like packing. See it all the time. They want to gather everything out of their closet and carry it wherever they're going. It can help them to not be so overwhelmed and not to kind of get bogged down in the clutter. This is also a good time to incorporate easier to work with clothing. Things with elastic waistbands, Velcro shoes, sports bras, and loose cotton underwear or short cotton socks are best. If your loved one is still able to physically dress themselves, one thing that you can do is kind of lay out their clothing in sequential order. Meaning you'd put a shirt and pants kind of on the bottom, and then work up to the undergarments so those are on top, because often people will grab things in the order that they see them and put them on. And if they skip the underwear or the brief or whatever they're wearing, then you might have to help them get undressed and do it again. If we are helping, we do want to give our loved ones choices. So don't just go in and grab the first thing. It can be really meaningful for them to have input on what they want to wear. So anytime I go into a room and I'm helping somebody get dressed, I'll usually pull out 2 different shirts or 2 different pants and say, hey, would you like to wear the red or the green? And that maintains their involvement in their own life and activities. So you can also sprinkle in compliments and say, I think the green one really brings out your eyes, but the red one, will match your lipstick or something, something to that effect. So sprinkle in compliments. Be positive while you're helping, and let them maintain some sense of control in their lives. For those that are still mostly dressing themselves, or maybe you're laying out clothes, often you may want to remove the clothing at the end of the day so that they don't rewear it. That's something we see quite often, especially in the kind of early and middle stages. Somebody will take off whatever they wore that day, maybe put it on a chair or somewhere by the bed. And the next morning when they get up, they see it and they say, oh, there's my clothes for the day. And they keep wearing the same things over and over. So if you can sneak in and swap those out and get some fresh, clean clothes, we can avoid re-wearing dirty things. And once again, we do want to be especially aware, especially in the middle stages, that they're dressing appropriately for the weather. So not wearing 2 sweaters in August or going outside in a t-shirt in February. I had a client actually that in the middle of the night decided that she had to get up and go to school, and she left her house with, I think, just her pajamas and regular clothing. And it was in the middle of February at 2:30 in the morning during a snowstorm. She was able to walk out and walk down the road, and luckily there was the landscaping company was there doing the snow removal, and they found her and got her somewhere safe and contacted the appropriate people. So people can definitely be susceptible to hypo and hyperthermia. Generally, by the time people reach late stage dementia, they're going to require full assistance. Oftentimes, too, there's physical and mobility issues at this stage as well, so you really need to get in there and help. We also want to focus on comfortable clothes, something nice and warm, easy to get on and off. Elastic waistbands are great, as I mentioned too. People tend to gain or lose weight. In the later stages, it's often that they lose weight, so having elastic waistband might allow you to have pants that last a little bit longer and aren't falling off. Button-up shirts can also be really helpful, especially in the later stages, and if there are any shoulder issues. When you think about putting on a crew neck or a t-shirt or anything like that, having to stick your arms kind of straight up can be difficult. Also, oftentimes, once they kind of start getting their head in, they might panic a little bit because they can't see and they're a little disoriented, or they're putting arms in the neck hole or anything like that. So button-up shirts can let you kind of take control and be a little bit easier. We will show you a couple techniques here after this slide, one of which is how to put on a button-up shirt or a jacket, especially while somebody is just standing up with their arms down to the side. That can really avoid the shoulder problems. We'll also do a demonstration on how to put on a pullover shirt and have it be less frightening for your loved one. So those will both be right after this. We also, in a previous lesson in the bathroom help, we did talk about the shoes on brief technique. So if you didn't see that, I'd recommend that you go back to that. That will save you quite a bit of time and frustration as you're getting your loved one ready every day. Generally, in the later stages, I do find that it's easiest to get somebody dressed in the toilet. It's just one less transfer to have to do, and it will allow them to have a little bit more time to actually use it. So it's easier, it's less complicated, and you're already in there, and you can do your cleanup and get dressed there. So as I mentioned, there will be a couple short videos that I hope you enjoy. As we mentioned in the lesson, we do recommend looser fitting clothes and button-up shirts for our loved ones with dementia. Button-ups are often a lot easier to get on than having to put a shirt on over somebody's head and then get their arms into it. But it can still be tricky sometimes, especially if your loved one has any previous shoulder injuries or mobility issues. So in this example, we've got a button-up shirt here, and Kim can still stand up. This can work if somebody is still using a walker, if they can take one hand off at a time safely. So what we want to do is get behind our loved one and find one hand into the armhole, find the other hand in while the hands are still at the waist, and then pull it on up, just like that. That avoids all the reaching around and reaching back and not being able to see that you have probably struggled with. This is also a fantastic tip, or a fantastic way to put on winter jackets. Although button-up shirts make our job easier, our loved one might have a favorite shirt of their own. Whether it's a comfy sweater, a shirt from their favorite sports team,
or a holiday sweater even.
Or a holiday sweater. They might have clothes that they feel most comfortable in. So we'll give you a quick rundown on how to better put on a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or something that doesn't button up. One great tip is to get it like this, and what I'll do is roll it all the way up so that you can see through it. Oftentimes, especially in the moderate and later stages of dementia, you can get a shirt halfway on somebody and then they kind of panic because they can't see or tell what's going on. And that's not a position you want to be in. So one way to remedy this is to make this little viewing window, and then I would look at Kim and get eye contact through the shirt and then put it on just like that. Next, what we'll want to do is I'll take my hand, right hand goes to right hand, basically like we're going for a handshake, and work my way down, grab her hand, and then pull it on through. This is especially helpful if your loved one tends to grab the inside of the sleeve because you've got that hand under control and you can pull it out easily. And then we do the same thing on the right hand, or the left hand. You do want to try to get this over the shoulder a little bit. Reach in there, grab, just like a handshake, pull on through, and then just straighten it out. We're all dressed up.